New in Structure Designer is the ability to bolt frames together. Let's have a look. Starting with our frame, let's go ahead and add some members. We'll place some HEA 100s. We'll rectangle select everything to get all the elements in one shot. Notice how Structure Designer gets the coping right, gets the inside rule right, and gets the butt joints right with all the interior sections. This is because we have a rule established to give us the out-of-the-box answer exactly the way that we want it. It might be a good time to note that you do have control over all of the cross-section transformations, whether you can flip X, flip Y, change the offset, and even handle the rotation. If you wish to make small tweaks to the corners, you can do that right inside the member dialog box. Alright, now that we have the start of our frame, we could let the welders weld this up, or we could use some new bolted connection capability. So we're going to add a bolted connection, and this is a brand new command inside of NX Structure Designer that allows us to place either splice or beam column type connections. Now there are different options within these. Let's have a look at them. First, let's place a end plate connection between the column and the beam. So we just pick the beam, the face, and the system does the rest for us. And it will place either a flanged, a flush, or in this case, the best answer is a fit type plate. We'll repeat this process just a few more times. One on the left side, one on the right side, and then we'll add a few on the actual bottom. Now, even though we did place these already, it's good to show some of the options as I continue on with the same type of bolted connection. We'll pick the member, we'll pick the face, and if you notice the dialog, we have options for fit, flushed, or flange. We also control the plate size, however it is automatically picked upon placement. We can also change the corner, or the grade, and we can also add fasteners if we want to. And here we'll just add some nuts, bolts, and washers using a standard fastener stack. We'll add one more end to the other side and we'll move on to some different options. You can control the fastener types if you want to, but the out-of-the-box answer is pretty darn good. Also, as a reminder, we're automatically sizing everything based on the actual member type itself. Let's change the option, and let's turn our fasteners off, and we're going to pick not a fit, but let's go ahead and pick a flanged type. Very common for these types of horizontal members. And we'll place one more on the opposite side. Mainly because it just goes so fast. There are other types of beam column connections. The end plate is a very common one, but also common are L plates. So in this example at the very top, let's change our option here from end plate to L plate and simply place an L plate between these two members. Now it's going to automatically size that plate to give me the correct size, and it will also add fasteners if I have the option turned on. And we'll place one more L to the inside here just to give an idea of what it looks like. We do have another option on here, and that's a flat plate, and that's where one of the sides of that bracket is actually welded to the beam. To access that, just simply change your option from L plate to flat plate and just simply pick the member faces. And just like that, you get the flat plate. Again, it will create the holes for you, but optionally, we're putting the fasteners in if you want that. One last one on the flat plate, and that'll continue or complete that fastener. Now, I'm not going to put fasteners on every one. I think you get the idea of what we can do with beam column. We can also do splice connections as well. So we'll change our bolted connection to splice, and we'll start off with an end plate. Simply pick the two members, and we will intersect the members and put two flat plates in there for you. We automatically size these things to give you the right out-of-the-box answer on the first try. Now, if you don't like the plate here, maybe you want one with symmetric holes or offset holes or a different pattern of holes. You can create any type of member plate connection that you want and simply add it to your library. Here, we just have a nice symmetric hole answer right out of the box. All right, let's change our option from end plate to web plate. Also very, very common type of bolted connection here, where we're putting it on the web plate. We do have options here for the backer plate on one side or both side. In this particular example, both side is probably the most common answer, so we give you that by default out of the box. You can change that option to make it only one side if you want to, but for this case here, you're probably going to want both. You can also do a flange plate. Simply pick the two top faces, and the process will take care of the rest. Now here, I'm going to turn the option off just to give you the top plate here. And you can see how we're going to drill the holes and add fasteners if that option were on automatically. Now notice how in the dialog there, we're automatically picking the size, but if you have your own specific ones, you can of course add that. Other things that you could do to stiffen things up, we can of course add gussets. Now this is not a new command, but it does work with bolted connections. It's a great way of stiffening up the end plate to the actual beam itself. We'll just put a few of these on the model to give you an idea of not only the ease of use, but just what the overall gusset looks like in these types of cases. And we'll place probably just one more. Something new that we have added is a actual stiffener plate. And these are pretty common for stiffening up the ends of beams or beams where intersecting columns go. Process is pretty simple. Just simply pick the member and the alignment face, and the system will automatically add those two plates for you. Now I have changed the color here to sort of a purplish color to let you know that they are different geometry and just to highlight exactly what we're actually creating here. Again, you can align the plates with just about anything. I'll pick the top faces of these end plates here, and we'll create the stiffener aligned with those end plates. We'll place just a few more to give you an idea of the ease of use. So a few things that we're doing automatically out of the box. We're automatically sizing everything, but you have full control over all of the dimensions, such as the chamfers, the thickness, the offsets, the side that you want it on, and even the offset from the height as well. Lots of input parameters, but our out-of-the-box answer is pretty darn good. Last but not least, we'll add one more at the very bottom of our column. And this is a good example why you would need a stiffener to keep that beam from twisting as the column is adding a load. All right, now that we have our bolted connections complete, let's take a look at what everything looks like from a color perspective. So use our stock color, and notice how we have all of our beams in the same color, our end plates in the same color, and even our gussets drawn in a different color as well. It gives you a great way of, at a glance, looking at exactly what's in your model. Now, the more I look at it, the more these top columns here probably should have been a little bit thicker here, so let's go ahead and make a change. We're going to use the infamous edit members command. I'm going to pick these members on the very top of our model, and we're going to change it from an HEA to an IPE, and let's give something a little bit deeper like an IPE 200. And as the system updates, notice that not only is it changing the members, but it's maintaining the proper coping between the vertical cross members, or I should say the horizontal cross members, and it will also update all of the end plates, the gussets, the L brackets, and the flat plates as well. All while it's trimming the vertical members back and moving those end plates down as well. Now there is a little bit of work that has to go on here, a lot of calculations going on, a lot of parts to update, a lot of things to recompute, but imagine doing this manually with all straight extrusions or in other systems. It's a lot easier inside of NX Structure Designer. Quick glance, we have our end plates all designed properly. We have got our L brackets designed properly, our flange splice plates updated properly, and even our end plates as well. Gussets update, everything is ready for production.